we are on the eve of two very big character announcements, and really three if you consider Power Rangers possibly having a post-launch content being announced soon, since the PS4 version is about to come out, and they already said that post-launch content would be announced soon, and it seems like why wouldn't they announce it soon? But we kind of know that for Power Rangers, Gold Ranger and the White Mystic Force Ranger will be in the game, and we don't know the third one. It could be really anyone. It's kind of hard to predict, but Gold Ranger, that's awesome. But when it comes to Smash, I've already made a bajillion different videos about each different character that could possibly be in Smash. Master Chief is a real possibility, but they might not announce him second unless their second announcement happens to be all the way at E3, which could be a thing because Joker is about to come out. But that's exciting because we're gonna get to play as Joker. I don't even care that we know who it's Joker. Joker was probably my number one top pick as a DLC character for Smash. He's a character that not everyone predicted, and a character that I said it would be really cool if he could be in the game. And I said, and there's a realistic possibility for it. It's not out of the realm of possibility. While people seem to think it was impossible, it's really not. Nothing is impossible, and Atlas and Nintendo have a very good relationship, a very very good relationship. So just makes sense. It's the same reason why I look at characters like Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive, and I say, wow, he has a really high chance because Nintendo and Team Ninja has a really good relationship. But I always seem to forget that the Fatal Frame games are also made by Koei Tecmo. So even though that Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja helps make Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors, let's keep in mind that there is a Koei Tecmo rep in the game already. So while I do think Ryu Hayabusa, honestly, I think he would be perfect fit because of his old school roots. It's just that's the whole thing. Will he be in? I can't say it for sure as nearly as well as I could for Joker, but let's also remember that characters from the game Tokyo Mirage Sessions Fire Emblem, or FE, were in the game as spirits. There's only like one, I believe, but they were in the game as like a spirit, and that was a game made by Atlas, and it was featured there. It seemed like with Wonderful 101 had some characters. I think they're in both Smash for Wii U and 3DS as well. I think there's some spirits in Switch that feature Wonderful 101, but it's been a while. I can't remember. But either way, those are made by Platinum, and lo and behold, after some time had passed, probably the mascot for Platinum Games, Bayonetta herself, was in the game, and that has a lot to do with Nintendo's ties to Bayonetta, especially since Nintendo is the only reason why Bayonetta 2 even seems to exist, and why we have Bayonetta 1 and 2 on both the Wii U and the Switch, with 3 coming to the Switch later. So it makes sense that a character from Atlas also got that kind of treatment, and it makes sense that a character from Koei Tecmo might get that treatment, even if there is a representative from Koei Tecmo already. Putting Ryu Hayabusa in the game makes sense. Ninja Gaiden had a very lasting impression on the entire gaming industry, so if putting in Ryu Hayabusa would represent both the old school and the new school, Koei Tecmo could be very, very happy with what they do with him. They could make him represent more his Ninja Gaiden appearance from the NES days, with his secondary being the new one, or vice versa. Both would be fine. And I've already made a video about Ryu Hayabusa. I just think that if they're going to do a lesser exciting character, that would be a really great choice. I think Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden totally deserves it, but I understand he might not be the most popular pick. Lastly, let's talk about the game that I used to talk about nonstop and kind of have stopped talking about as much, and that would be Dragon Ball FighterZ. We know a lot of information about GT Goku, and a big update is just dropped for Dragon Ball FighterZ at the end of March that changed up a lot of mechanics of the game. A lot of new combos are being born because of new buffs. And some characters have straight up new moves, like Tien can now do the split form when he does his Tri-Beam, which is very faithful to Dragon Ball. And it's one of the reasons why I used to really like Tien as a kid growing up, was because of his cool Tri-Beam techniques. It was mainly with like doing split form. He would do split form and make multiple copies of himself. This is also notable that he does this in Dragon Ball Super as well. So it's very important that we that Tien could have this move because it just better represents Tien as a character, and also it's an easy thing to add to the game. And for some reason, the split form doesn't appear in that many different Dragon Ball games. Like it never appeared in the Budokai games, and I always thought that was really weird growing up. I thought like Krillin should always have the move where the ki blasts separate and all come together, which he also didn't have in the Budokai games, but I believe he had in the Tenkaichi games. And Tien should have the split form move. So Tien has that now. Lots of other characters have new moves, like Nappa's projectile move has been completely changed. A lot of people are talking about 121's got like some new options for her. One of her moves lets her do her sliding move as like a teleport thing now. Her diagonal air sliding knee attack move that I used to love to do all the time when I would first get the game. When I first had the game, my team was Goku Black, Android 21, and Gohan. And then when Bardock came out, I replaced 21 with Bardock. And so it's really nice to see that Android 21 is kicking ass again. And a lot of characters are kicking ass. Both, well, I should say both because there's 3 Gokus now. But Goku Blue and Goku Super Saiyan are both been improved from what I understand. So the game is being, a lot of new life is being breathed into the game, and that's really good. That's exactly what the game needed. Because for me, I think the game was pretty stale for a while now. So this is kind of like a big update. And a lot of people have been saying they wanted like a real Season 2 treatment that Guilty Gear gets. Guilty Gear gets big sequels. They don't just get updates, they get like full-on sequels that change the way the game works. Changes, like there's like updates, patches, buffs and nerfs and all that good stuff, as well as adding new characters. So while adding new characters is always the most exciting thing, breathing new life into the older characters is also really important as well as exciting. So we now have 6 characters incoming. 2 of them have been out since like January, being Jiren and Videl. We're getting to that point where we really should get more characters for the game. Actually, I say January. It might have been February. Yes, I think Jiren and Videl were put in February, because January to April would be a long time. So it's about time we get the new characters, and instead of showing them at the same time and then boom, having them updated in the game like the next day, there was like this leak that they were going to reveal GT Goku in a magazine. Then they did reveal GT Goku in that magazine, so it didn't really matter that it leaked. It only leaked like 2 days before it ended up in the magazine. We had screenshots of everything it said. We still don't know everything about the character. We haven't seen any video of the character in action. We just have these screens, but we do have higher res screens now, so we do know like what to expect with Kid Goku. And let me just say, Kid Goku does not appear. Kid Goku's a fitting title for it, because if you call him GT Goku, it doesn't really represent all of GT. I feel like they really wanted to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone here. They wanted to show off the fact that GT Goku and Kid Goku are one and the same. They gave GT Goku the power pole and the flying Nimbus, and he like rides in on Shinron. He shoots a Kamehameha backwards. It's called reverse Kamehameha. It's a way to propel himself forward. This is something that Kid Goku would definitely do, as I know he used Kamehamehas to launch himself multiple times in Dragon Ball. Most famously is when he shot Kamehameha into the ground, launching himself at King Piccolo and putting his fist through him. Though I think my second favorite time he used Kamehameha to launch himself was in when he was an adult, or at least a older teenager, when he was fighting Piccolo Jr., and he shot a Kamehameha with his feet. This is the kind of shit that Dragon Ball was famous for, was the crazy, wacky kung fu, and the elements that you don't see now as much in DBZ, outside of people biting each other and choking with their tails and other stuff, silly stuff like that. So the idea of Kid Goku and GT Goku being one and the same, that is exactly why you don't see him as Super Saiyan 4 at all times. Because a lot of people are saying they want GT Goku, but they were specifically saying they want Super Saiyan 4 Goku as a playable character. And because Goku fights, because Super Saiyan characters and Super Saiyan Blue characters are in the game, it would make sense that Goku would be Super Saiyan 4 at all times. Because, especially when you have a character like Vegito Blue, who's supposed to canonically only last 5 minutes, And there's a lot of matches that last longer than 5 minutes in Dragon Ball FighterZ. And Vegeta Blue, doesn't just die; he stays fused the entire time. With the whole point being that he would, uh, last a certain that the fights would last long enough for him to exist. Though I think they should have put in an animation where if a fight lasted like over 10 minutes or something silly like that, then Vegeta would defuse as a special victory animation. That would be really funny. But either way, um, they could easily throw in GT Goku with Super Saiyan 4 and no one would complain. Everyone would say this is normal and badass. And there's plenty of a moveset that we could take from for GT Goku. Plenty of a moveset. It's so obvious. So, no reason why we can't have this. However, GT Goku, as of right now, kind of represents everything about Goku. Because GT, they took a lot of Goku's abilities from Z and gave it to Kid Goku. But he also is doing moves from Dragon Ball, like I said, with the reverse Kamehameha and the power pull. So, and the idea is, I guess if they put Kid Goku in the game, they would think maybe he's too weak. He wouldn't be strong enough to fight against like characters like Beerus and Goku Black, who should be able to kill him in one hit. But really, neither should Krillin or Yamcha or any of those guys either. The idea that they can fight them is kind of crazy. But it makes more sense in a team fighting game. But even Kid Goku could be a little. I don't know. If they wanted to be actually accurate, maybe it would be too much. So anyone who's complaining about GT Goku, I want you to understand that his secondary color will probably be solid like red with the black belt, being a total reference to old school Kid Goku. I really, really don't think if you wanted Kid Goku from Dragon Ball, this is what you're getting. And I'm pretty sure that's what they're trying to do is nail two birds with one stone here. I don't think they want you to think this character is not supposed to be Kid Goku. This is Kid Goku as Kid Goku can possibly be. I don't know if they really think this was what people wanted or if they were smart and are trying to come up with a compromise here and make a character that represents everything Goku was outside of Dragon Ball Super, basically. The only thing is that this could lead to a perplexing question of who the next characters gonna be. I saw like an image somewhere of the DLC characters. I think it was on the eShop or something, and it had like silhouettes for the characters, and they had colored borders, and one was green and one was blue. And that was like, okay, that's obviously Broly from Dragon Ball Super, which we know is coming, and Gogeta Super Saiyan Blue from Dragon Ball Super, which again, we know is coming. So, yeah, we know that. But what the funny thing is that the other two characters' borders were brown and purple. Now, something to keep in mind here is that, and it wasn't just purple, it was like a violet pinkish purple. Because Vidal's is also purple, but Vidal's is like, the same color purple as her shirt. Jiren's border color was black. And, he wears red mostly, but he has black as a secondary color. Just like Vidal's secondary color is purple. So really, it's based off more of their secondary colors more so than their main colors. But the interesting thing here is that for Goku's border, he could be the brown or the purple, or pinkish purple, because if Goku from GT was supposed to be brown, where would that? How is he really? How is he brown? You know what I'm saying? How is he brown? Because his tail is brown. He does have his tail, but it's because of the great ape form. Or is it because he can go? It doesn't. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me that he would be brown. But I mean, I guess technically he has brown in his costume with the tail. Whereas if the pink color was him, that would make some sense because his wristbands are pinkish. Though that's just his wristbands. This would actually fit better if he transformed into Super Saiyan 4. So the thing is that I actually really don't know if this gives me any hints or not, because I would want to say that the pinkish color is more reserved for Kefla, which would be my absolute number one most wanted additional character to the game. Absolutely, the character I want above anyone else is Kefla, and not just because there's more fusions, but because there'd be another character with Super Saiyan Green-esque powers, and it's another character from Super that I think this game desperately needs, and she's just my favorite character that they added in from Super. I think the most exciting fight, I think most people agree, was when Kefla fought Goku Ultra Instinct, and Goku went through all the forms while the two girls battled him, and they got stronger and stronger before they fused together. So, yeah, that's something I really would like to see is Kefla in the game for sure. With there's lots of potential with the moveset there, and I mean I think I've gone over this many times, but if if it's not Kefla, then that would mean Goku probably has that pinkish purplish border, and then someone would have to have that brown border, and that's where I have no idea. Master Roshi? No, I don't think he wears brown ever. Would it be Raditz? He kind of has brown on his armor, but why would you do GT Goku with Raditz? You know, like why would you GT Goku and be like Goku? We couldn't do Kid Goku because Kid Goku would get his ass kicked. Then you put Raditz in, who is the weakest character in the show, and we know this because Krillin and Tien and Yamcha are all strong enough to defeat the Ginyu Force by the Frieza saga, and they've all gotten stronger even in the Android saga. So we know that those characters would be able to kill Raditz just by punching them. I don't know if they're as strong as Frieza. I don't know if they could kill Frieza at the end of the Android saga. Okay, I'm not saying they could, but they could definitely kill Raditz at that point. And at the end of the Frieza saga, if they were able to take on the Ginyu Force, they would be able to defeat Nappa for sure. So the idea of putting Raditz in the game, it's like he's the weakest character. At that point, it's like, okay, so you really couldn't put in Kid Goku from Dragon Ball? You had to do GT Goku? I don't get it. But maybe. The only other character that would really fit the brown, and the character who would probably fit it the most, would be Mr. Satan, aka Hercule. Hercule, I don't think it's gonna happen. I feel like they wouldn't do Videl and Hercule right after each other. I think it's a little too obvious, and they also straight up said they weren't going to do any gag characters. And I don't know, just I think Hercule also even already has a little lobby avatar. I think we just don't want to do Hercule. I think they said already they don't want to do Hercule. He'd be too much of a gag character. When you think about it, really, Hercule can't even like throw a punch or a kick. He's seriously too weak. With Videl, at least you could make the argument that she would be strong enough to take on some of the other lesser characters at this point. We have to assume that in the Buu Saga standards, Videl is probably around as strong as Krillin and Yamcha because she's been training with Gohan. So while I'm not saying that she's super strong and could probably defeat, let's say, Saiyan Saga Vegeta or something like that, she is remarkably strong. Let's keep it real. She can fly. She can outclass her father. She's a very strong character. It's just by the time she gets powered up, there's not really any threats on her level. She would have done great during the Dragon Ball original saga, but during Dragon Ball Z, especially during late in-game Dragon Ball Z with Majin Buu, I don't think so. I don't really think that. I don't really think so. So, as far as Hercule goes, I just don't think they're gonna do it. So, what that brown border could be, honestly, I'm more assuming that brown is still for Kid Goku, and that's just a weird color choice, or maybe that colored border means absolutely nothing, and it won't even have a brown colored border, and instead, but also, if let's just say if the colored borders do matter, then maybe it'll be Goku GT will be the brown border, because honestly, I think that makes more sense for him than it does the idea of Raditz being in the game at all, as well as doesn't make any sense for Hercule being in the game, no, and doesn't make any sense for them to put who's that other character? I don't think Hercule and Raditz will be the brown colored border. character. Oh, and Master Roshi just I don't see why they would give him a brown one. To me, it'd be like they would give him orange, blue, or green, or something along those lines, or maybe even purple. Maybe even purple for him, you know. But I don't think you'd have that. Uh, but also, I think that the pinkish purplish one could potentially be Kefla or Super Saiyan 4 Goku. It would be really weird if they added in two more Gokus and one was from GT. But it could be. Some people have also suggested Janemba could be that one. Janemba isn't really pinkish purplish. He's more dark purple and blood red. But, I could let it slide. The only reason why I would say no to Janemba is because it would be strange to have Janemba added in and he can't fight the Super Saiyan Gogeta that he fought in the movie. And instead, he could only fight Gogeta Blue. I don't think that's the worst thing. I think that's totally reasonable. I think, you could do that. But I just don't think that's what they're going to do. If they do Janemba, though, as the last character, I would be really happy if they updated the game to have another stage in it, being the Hell stage. Especially when it has all the candy droplets like it does when he fights Janemba. But we never got a Tournament of Power stage when Jiren came out, so I highly doubt we'll get anything like that. Of course, as far as what stages they could do in Dragon Ball, there's a plenty of awesome stage ideas they could do in Dragon Ball. So, whatever. But I'm more so leaning that the last and final character will be Kefla. I think most people are all seeing it coming as Kefla, and I think that's maybe why they're waiting so long. But also, it would be really cool to have Kefla because then they could do GT Goku, put him on the good guy side, and put Kefla, stick her over on the bad guy side. And then that way, when they do Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta as well as Brawly will be on the villain side and Gogeta will be on the good guy side. And most of the themes of the DLC will be correct. The only thing that's weird about the characters select screen is that 18 is on the villain side, while 17 is on the hero side. That's weird. And also, Vegeta Blue is on the villain side, and he was never a villain, So, yeah. But, it's whatever. It's still just a character select screen. It doesn't mean that much. So yeah. I think we all have to agree it's got to be Kefla at this point. But, who knows? Who knows? The thing is, that's why it's exciting, because this next character reveal is going to be... It's got to be soon. So, I'm going to end this video. I'm going to let you guys ponder on that. Joker might be announced literally today. They might announce a direct literally today. Anything could happen. Joker could be announced later this week. I'm going to be playing Power Rangers this week, so I don't care. We might see more Power Rangers announcements this week. I highly doubt we'll see... no. Sometimes we do get to see the characters for Mortal Kombat before the game even comes out. They did that for Mortal Kombat... No, they did it for Injustice 2, I believe. And for Mortal Kombat 10, I think they showed that Jason would be in the game before he came out. We might get some post-launch content announced, but it would probably be the week before the game comes out. So not this next week. But either way, April is an exciting time, my friends, and hopefully we get to see some really, really dope stuff. I've heard a rumor that the Power Rangers DLC will come out in May, so sometime in April they will probably have to show this post-launch content. And yeah, with Joker coming in April, it's just a wonder of how soon April. And remember, Piranha Plant, we knew 2.0 too. We know 2.0 was going to come out in February, and people were saying Piranha Plant would probably come out in the update because he was supposed to come out, or it was supposed. They said he was going to. All you had to do was buy the game before February, and you got Piranha Plant. And then it was in late January. It was in late January that Piranha Plant came out. So that's what I'm saying. There could be a very real chance that Joker could be coming out like this week, because if they released the last character during the late end of January, like the last few days of January, and said, oh, it's February now because it's the last few days of January, that's how it works sometimes, guys. So, Joker is, I think, going to come out, like, actually very soon. I don't think they're going to make us wait till the end of April. So, we will see. But basically, yeah, this is just these last few weeks of March, or this last 1 week of March, the last few days of March, I should say, before April, and then April's literally next week. It's literally Monday is April. That's April Fool's Day. We're gonna see some awesome ass content dropping very very soon on like 4 fighting games. So that's what I'm hyped for, and that's just my thoughts on Dragon Ball mostly. As I said, I already have a million prediction videos on Smash, but I really just think they're going to show Joker and just release Joker. I don't know if they're going to tease the next character anytime soon, but I do feel like if they did a Smash-based direct that explained all 3.00, teasing the next character would be a smart decision at the very, very end. But that's if they decide to do that. But I do think they kind of need to tease a little bit what 3.0 is going to be, because it seems like this DLC is going to add in game modes, and I don't think they're going to do a big 4.0 for the next character. I think they're just going to add the next character, and if if the game needs any more nerfs and buffs, then maybe. But who knows what will happen with the next character. So we shall see. I'm going to end this video right here, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.